What are you thinking about, Tash?
So our event is about to start, and this has been the most stressful morning, a classic example of parenting and work colliding. So we have this event, the first person's just turned up there, but all morning I have basically been on the phone to my son's school because this crazy thing has happened, which is the Momo challenge, has happened to my son. So my son for the past 24 hours has been in a state of huge distress, and none of us knew why. And we've been through everything. Like last night I was up so late with him, like going through everything you think as a mother. You know, is someone bullying you? Have you fallen out with your friends? Is it this? Is it that? Is it school? He's like, it's not school, then I'm back to the house. Is it home? Is it mummy? Is it daddy? What is it? Like, what the hell is going on? Going through everything. He was crying his eyes out, couldn't get to the bottom of what was wrong. He ended up sleeping in our bed, so I'm really, really tired. Get up this morning, the whole thing continues again. He's in such a bad mood, and I'm like, right, whatever it is, we have to get to the bottom of it. So eventually I'm like, going through the whole thing. Is it this? Is it that? Eventually he said, I say, right, if you don't tell me, I'm going to have to speak to your teacher. That then prompted him to say it was to do with home, not school. So then I'm like, okay, fine. In desperation, going through everything, the point I say to him, is it the cats? I literally said, is it the cats? Have the cats upset you? So anyway, I then say to him, throw it out there. I've gone through every option. Is it the Momo challenge? Has something appeared to you in a YouTube video? And he says yes. So I'm like, what? He was watching a football video on Tuesday night, and he was engrossed in the video, and this thing comes up on the video.
Oh my God!
Scares the living daylights out of him. Somehow it makes him think he's in a two-way conversation with it, and he's talking to it, and it's kind of omnipresent in the house, and it can hear him and watch him and talk to him, and basically he's been completely traumatised by this Momo thing, which I didn't even think was real. Okay, so obviously the Momo is this incredibly serious thing that's actually horrific when you read about it. Like, something is appearing in YouTube videos and telling kids things from like, don't tell your parents and I'm going to hurt your parents, through to go and hurt your brothers and sisters, through to, and this is all, by the way, I'm taking this all from what I've read in the papers, through to go and find some tablets to take and take them, through to actually go and hurt yourself. So that's like what the Momo is actually doing. So that is incredibly serious thing is happening. But I suppose my reaction when I first read the news stories about it yesterday was, oh, how can that possibly be true? And is that even true? Like, or is this kind of an urban myth thing and something that's not true because it seems so extreme? In principle, it's an incredibly serious thing, but also I think as a parent or whatever, I mean, my reaction to it was a bit like, this is a kind of freaky, horrific and wacky story when I first read it yesterday. But it's not something that I ever believed was that night going to impact me and my world, because I think when you read horrific things in the news, and particularly quite random things, you don't think, well, I didn't anyway, other parents will have their own thing. My view was like, I read it was like, geez, Christ, that's awful, but my view was not that was ever something that was going to impact me or my world. And I think also the other thing is, as an adult, you sort of think, God, this Momo thing is kind of crazy and how's it happening? But as a kid, and it just reminded me how when I was a kid, and we used to have paper chain letters and getting that sort of thing on MSN chat, and it would be like copy and paste this 5 times and pass it on, or, you know, something awful is going. There's always that voice, even at that age when you're a teenager, you're a bit like, well, I know that's a load of nonsense, but
just in case it isn't.
Back of your mind, it's like, just in case there's some supernatural force here, I will copy it and pass it on. And I think if you're 10, you know, very and younger, which is the age at which these kids are seeing this Momo thing. So I think talking to other parents this morning and talking to my kids' school, it's clear that if this is happening and this Momo thing is appearing, it's really realistically going to be very hard to be certain that your kids won't see it, because if it's in YouTube and it's in the Xbox and it's in the iPhone, it's in WhatsApp or whatever, and it's in apps, then, you know, it's because you can't really, bar removing all devices, which is also hard to do in a conversation for another day, not one I'm going to embark on right now. You can't, if you're not removing all devices permanently, then how can you be sure they won't see the Momo in the way my son has? So my attitude this morning is like, fine, how do we flip this on its head and empower him? So I said to my son, now that you understand it and you know that it's not real, and yes, it's got a scary face, but you know, it's not something to be scared of. Now you understand it, let's flip it on its head, and you as a 10-year-old can be part of, you know, a movement that helps unravel what this Momo thing is. Like, actually get footage of it. If you see it, come and get me and we'll film it on the iPhone. And when I spoke to his headmistress, I said to her this morning, she said, I think we need to preempt it and we need to tell the kids about it, show them the news story, show them the original artwork, give it some context, rather than live in fear that this thing's going to appear. Empower them and explain to them and you know, let them be part of a voice that's like, you know, we're not scared of a Momo. In fact, we're going to help unravel what this Momo actually is. I think for younger children, i.e. my daughter's age, that's obviously a different conversation, but for year 5 and 6, at my kids' school where they are, as a parent, I feel that that's the best way to deal with it, is to confront it head on, preempt it, because I know, having witnessed my son go from absolute terror for 24 hours, though I didn't know what about, to now being quite like, he was then chatting about it, wanting to look up pictures of it, talking about how hacking occurs, all that sort of stuff. So that's good. So the whole problem of my son is like, in terms of something terribly gone wrong, is sorted. That's a huge relief, although the event is still about to start. And my son's headmistress was saying, it's a bit like grooming. It is a form of grooming. Obviously it's not grooming in the way we conventionally think about it, but it's grooming in terms of giving someone messages and trying to take control of their life and their behaviour. So in that case, it's like confront it head on. Yeah, the Momo looks really scary, but actually to a group of 10 and 11-year-olds, if you show them the original artwork, I mean, God knows who thought up that thing, the original sculpture, but that's something that maybe is a way of dealing with it, is confront it head on and preempt it, empower children to know what it is, and get children to help show this stuff to adults so we can actually see what it is. And have now got to flip from kind of the Momos in my house, and has literally traumatised my child to do this event.